go. Wonder if she ever goes through the gate. What do you think, gatekeepers? Hey, everybody, how you doing? It's good to see you, Slow. Good to see you, D-Rock. Renice, how are you? Bobby, good to see you. I know Vixen Doe is in here, too. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, listen, I'm going to tell you this straight up. I put the ocean one in because it shows so much beauty and so much magic and so many mysteries that are still out there. And it's easy these days to look around and see so many things that are just like so crazy. And we forget those things. Now, I know everybody in this chat notices the little things, the cardinal, the I was at work the other day, and I have like this big table that looks outside in the front of the store and looks out. I can see the highway and the mall across the street, and there's a movie theater and some other things. So you see people coming and going. And I always look past that, and my favorite part is this little piece of a grove of trees that's on this side, and you always try to kind of focus there if you're trying to be creative, even though all this craziness is going on. People are, like I said, coming and going about their business, and cars speeding by. Sometimes they're beeping at each other and being all aggravated. I saw a car that sat behind this woman that was trying to decide to make a left in front of oncoming traffic, and the car behind her just kept laying on the horn. I mean, first of all, you're not going to make it any better with your aggravation, right? People. But in the midst of this whole thing, I look up and I focus on those trees, and I keep, I was making probably a funeral spray or something for somebody, I mean, it's just, they're beautiful, but still, and I look up and there's this little hummingbird outside the window. And you know how hummingbirds do? They just bzz, 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 and they go up and down, and they move so fast, and they come in and they go out, and he just sat there and he just looked at me. Whether he could see me or not, it appeared, he was right in front of me. And it was just so cool in the midst of this whole thing. And it was just one of those things that I took from my guides, just crazy, call me crazy. Don't forget the magic. Don't forget the beauty. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep the lights on. That's what we're going to do tonight. My wonderful guest tonight is Lynn Monet, and it's wonderful to have her back. I've missed her terrible, but she was going through something that we all go through and needed time, and now she's back. And if I haven't, I'm just, this is a wild guess on my part, but I've bumped into 3 people this week that I know are light workers, know for fact, are light workers, get it, and know where they are in the midst of all this madness that's going on around us, and have had things happen to them, and so I want to say armored up, or at the very least galvanized by the things that have happened to them in the past, and been able to ride through them and bust through the crazy and see the big picture of, this is my job to show people how to go through this. This is my job to show how somebody goes through a quick tragedy. One of the light workers that came in, she was door dashing. You know her. She's been a guest on our show. Wonderful Pam Locke. And I'm listening to her story as she's picking it up. She was doing something at the shop, and she had gotten bit by a dog. And her and I both, she was telling my other coworkers the story of how she got bit and why, and how she handled it, and what happened, and what was going on around her, and the owners of the dog. And we were kind of surmising that where they came out of and where they were living in the senior community and their age, there may have been something going on in that house that dog came out of, and the way the people were acting, and the elderly person that was living in there. And her and I locked eyes across the room. I was still working again on another project. And I said something was going on in that house. And I said, your guides knew you were stupid enough to do something about it, and you were going to handle this and be part of this that might give that person hope and an escape in some way. That's how spirit guides work. That's how energy flows. This lady knows all about that. She is an author. She has spent decades in the medical field, most of it in end of life care. Her books, Omnipresent, um, and the second book that continues the story, Omnipresent, was about a haunted house that was so haunted she couldn't even move in. And here she is, much like Michael Madsen in Reservoir Dogs, you just saw, stuck in the middle with you and all this crazy around her, and how she survived it, galvanized by it, armored up. Lynn Monet, everybody. Come on in here, sweetie.
Hi, it's so good to be back. I've missed everybody. I've missed
Oh,
you
missed
so
you
much.
terrible.
I'm trying to get myself turned so that I'm not.
You're perfect. Perfect.
Looking. Okay.
Right
All
there.
right.
You're
Okay.
good. You're gorgeous.
Good.
You're absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're absolutely
Just trying.
gorgeous. I love your
Thanks.
hair. I'm letting mine go. Look how white it is. Lynn, look.
You know what though? I love
Wait a
the
minute.
white. I wish mine would do that. Mine. I love the white.
It's starting to where it's showing up in the, and I'm like, oh, this is exciting. It's like a marble, whatchamacallit, or whatever. You know, it's like getting marbleized.
Yeah, I love the white. I wish my mother had that beautiful pearlescent white hair like what you've got. My dad had the steely gray, and I think I'm going to get his. So
I hope I'm going to get a bunch of Aquanet and just get it all stuck out and just pop out from places and stuff.
You go, girl.
Halloween. Why not? You know, just let it go.
Yeah.
I just figured I hadn't seen it, just left it alone because I always put herbal tint in it. You know, I'm telling you, people, if you're dyeing your hair, please listen up. Go to, and I'm not getting any money from them. They're not promoting this show, but herbal tint and Nutritint. Look it up. And it's all natural, vegetable, fruit based dye and henna, you know, that type of thing. Wonderful, because so many people with the black to hair dye and they don't tell them. I had a lady I worked with. She started getting so many chemicals absorbed from this, you know, you know what I mean? And she could go over to that and it wouldn't harm her at all. So that's something that you can cause.
What is it called again? Herbal what?
Herbal tint.
Tint. T-I-N-T.
And Nutritint, and it's permanent hair color. If you're going to do it, do it. It's the kind where you could like put it on and forget you have it on, walk around. It's not going to hurt you. There's no smell. There's no nothing. But I did that for years with that and henna because the spider venom really affected everything. And I just decided, let's see, you know. And I was hoping for my great grandma's. I never got to see my grandmother's because she always dyed hers back to the red. You know, but my great grandmother, we know the story. I saw hers, and hers was very much like this. I'm excited.
I don't know. It's beautiful. Now, do you get that in a regular, like in Walmart, or do you have to go to a beauty store to find that?
Usually, okay. There's several ways. Just Google it. Whatever it's gonna pop up all over the place. And it comes in a box that say hair your length. The first time you did it, you use the whole thing. It's just 2 bottles. You mix it together. You get your own ketchup squirter, your condiment thingamajiggy. I'm sorry, guys.
That's a great idea.
We'll get real fast. But it might help because, no kidding, please look up the things that the dye causes. Not this stuff, but the other, even professional, you know, and I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to do your own thing. You know, your hair, your choice. Let's, you know, just information that I've seen people get adverse effects. Let's just set it that way. And it, you know, one less thing, right? So it's herbal tint. You can, the boxes, they're usually between 12 and 15, and if you had short hair, you can use it twice. First time, if you ever did long hair like Lynn's, one whole kit, and then the second one you could half it, split it in 2, and just put it and run it through.
Wow, that's great. That's
no charge. Good. If it helps somebody, you know.
It's going to help me because I'm definitely going to check into it.
It's not as expensive, and it causes no irritations, no, you know, read about it. They have all kind of things, you know, that you can test through, whatever. But there are 2 different companies, and you can get it in natural stores. Vitamin Shop and the big chain ones kind of carry, they carry one. I don't know which one it is, but you can get it online all day long.
Well, that's great to know. And I wanted to say to everybody, I can't see the chat, but I do send much love and light to all of you. I've thought of all of you, and you've been on my mind, and I've missed everybody.
My chat stopped working. I don't know why.
What's that?
Oh no, the chat stopped working on mine. It's working on YouTube, but not on my StreamYard, maybe. Hey, somebody put something in the chat. Let me see if it pops up. Go ahead, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. No, I wanted to say too, that beautiful intro that you had was so soothing, and just, I loved all of the ocean scenes and the dolphins and the turtles, and yes, the beauty. You know, it's so important, and you make so much beauty every day. I haven't been on Facebook a lot, but when I am on there, I love to see the beautiful floral arrangements that you're making.
Thank you.
They make me smile. They make my heart warm, because they are beautiful, and you just do such an amazing job for people with those that way too. So
thank you, Pumpkin.
If anybody's wondering,
thank you. I'm just trying to get the chat. I'm listening, but I'm trying to get the chat going, because the only other way I could do it is go out, and it's going to cut the thing in two. But everything stopped, and everything is changing over here, so we might have to do that, because are we 5.5? You guys can hear? This thing has been messing up, dude. And it's
Mercury retrograde. We just went into it,
and it's nothing. I believe it's nothing I can't fix. But the only way to do it is to go out, come back in, have you come back in. Everybody in the chat, is that cool with you guys? You can see it, and it's working great on YouTube. But I can't see your chat up here. You know, I have to look at my phone, and I want you to be able to see what they're saying, because people always have great questions here. So if you all are for that, is that cool? You know, I'm watching. See, let's see. Hey, Andrew. See, I'm not even seeing who's in the chat or being able to talk. So we're going to have to. This is crazy. Slow says go. Slow says go. So everybody blink. We're going to go out. We're going to come back in. But it's going to have 2 shows on like Facebook. So you'll have to go out and just click into the new one that pops up. Welcome to the Hot Mess Express, y'all.
That's good. Right. Woohoo! Here we go.
I don't even have to do it, but are we back? Are we back? Give me a 5.5. I think I can see my chat now. Here's Lynn. Fantastic. Are you here, girl? Yep, there she is. Here we go.
Woohoo!
We're back. Okay, sorry, guys. That will split that. I think it'll split it. No, it stayed the same. Oh, we are cooking with grease. So, yeah, hold that mug up. What do you got?
I've got tea, some vanilla chai. Tea.
So, I have. See, we're on the same, so close. But I'm just a little bit. I've already just ended the summer, and I'm going straight into fall. I went straight with the pumpkin spice chai. Pumpkin spice chai, and it's really hot because I got a new tumbler today.
There you go. Look at that.
It's supposed to be a wine tumbler, but tonight it's a pumpkin spice chai tumbler. But I'm telling you, it works too well because I burnt my lips earlier. So let's see. It's really, really hot. You know, but that's what you want. But it went a little too far. So tell us what you've been doing.
I come from a family of 6, and my youngest sister, of course, was murdered. Then my mother passed away. My father passed away. Then my brother passed away 3 months later. And now my only remaining, my sister has passed away.
Sweet Lord.
So I'm the only one left out of 6, and it was totally unexpected.
I'm so sorry, baby.
It was. She had been battling cancer, but the cancer was not what took her. She there were some mistakes made in the hospital that caused her death. So I'm trying to find a malpractice attorney right now, because nobody should ever have to die that way again. But the thing that I did learn is that if anybody, people are very, very uncomfortable talking about death. It's like, oh no, that's not going to happen, and it's just not a topic that most people like to talk about. But it's so important, because it's important to know what your end of life directives are. Even if you have them written down somewhere, I don't care what age you are, you need to know whether you want to be buried or cremated, or,
Yes.
whether you want a funeral or not, which is the new thing. I personally don't want one. It's like, because why? I'd rather have my family keep the money and go on a cruise or go to a cabin in the mountains and, spend their money
Oh,
that way,
that's
and
nice.
think of mom. But,
That's nice.
but it's really, really important, because in the case of my sister, she had no end of life directive. She had no will, nothing. And it is a huge, huge mess if you don't do that. And a lot of times people think that you have to have an attorney involved to do that, and you do not. It's as simple as even writing something out on a paper and having it notarized, or a signature of two people on there. As well as you can go online and print things off for like the 5 wishes packets to, it walks you through your end of life directives. And people also don't realize too, that in the case of power of attorney, and I'm just telling this to save people a lot of anguish down the road, the power of attorney or healthcare power of attorney only goes into play when you are incapacitated and unable to speak for yourself. It's not like somebody can go and pull the plug on you just because they're your healthcare power of attorney. If you're able to speak for yourself, but it has to be somebody that you trust, that knows what your wishes are, and that they will carry those wishes out. And it is so important. And also, don't sign for anything in the hospital unless it's yours. Let your wife sign for herself, your husband, your significant other, your children over 18. Now, of course, under 18, you do have to sign, because whoever signs gets the bill. I don't care what they tell you. Oh, no, that's not true. But it happens. And the thing about it is I've had this reiterated again by an attorney in Florida, by an attorney now in Louisiana, by an attorney in South Carolina. When someone passes away, as long as you haven't taken responsibility for any of their debts, you get that notice in 30 days, you get that notice in 60 days, that nasty letter in 90 days, and then 120 days, they turn your deceased special person over to a collection agency, and it ruins their credit. Well, but they're dead. So it doesn't matter. Too many times I've seen people as patients that are still paying for mom's burial, and they can't even afford their own medicine for themselves. They're cutting themselves short in order to pay for somebody whose things are who has passed away. So I'm not going to keep going on and on about that, but please only sign for yourself and have everybody else sign for themselves, so that your name is not on anything, not for any permission for any tests. I had I will just tell this story really, really quick, if that's okay, to kind of bring this home for everybody. I had a friend who her husband went into the hospital to have kidney stones broken up, and she went in with him, and she calls me on the phone, and all of a sudden I hear the lady from the admissions office come in with the papers, and my friend says, "Oh, I'll sign those. I'm his power of attorney." And I'm like, "Why are you signing for him? He's alert and oriented, and he's talking. Let him sign, let him sign for himself." "Oh no, I'm his POA." I said, "Well, technically it was illegal for them to hand you those papers, because he is alert and oriented, and they should have handed the papers to him." I said, "Not only that, if something happens, you may end up getting stuck with a huge bill. I hope that nothing happens." I said, "Go back to the admissions office, tell them to shred the documents in front of you and to reissue them to your husband, and make it like you're doing him a favor, because legally they weren't supposed to hand them to you to begin with." Lo and behold, her husband had an allergic reaction to the iodine dye that they were using with the kidney stones, and
I took my mother-in-law, and she was
and
the sweetest woman, man. She really was.
yep,
Her heart, something about her heart. Oh, it was terrible.
yep, it is terrible, and he died. So it was and then she went to it, and here she is now, a single person with a home that requires 2 incomes to maintain, because they still were of an age where they had children at home. And she herself also went to an attorney, and she said, "All of these bills are coming in. How am I going to pay them? Are they going to take my house?" And the question from the attorney to the patient was, "Did you sign for anything?" Well, I did, but my friend told me to go back and undo it. He said, well, your friend just did you a big favor. He said, did you sign for any tests to be done, anything at all? And she said, no. She said, I didn't sign anything after my friend told me that. He says, well, you need to thank your friend because she saved you from that, because technically the bill will come back and find him and his name, but he's gone. So it's not going to adversely affect another person. And I'm not telling you not to pay your bills, but don't get stuck with somebody else's, because I promise you, when they're on the other side, they don't care whether you pay their bill or not, because money has no value there. So, but with that being said, I did get, I'm going to be writing a sequel to The Colors of Heaven after seeing my sister also once again leave her body, which was a very, very beautiful thing. And this is spoil alerts, because I haven't even started writing it yet. I haven't had the chance, but I've been making notes on napkins and papers to kind of, remember some of the things. And again, it just, everything happened so fast. It was totally unexpected. She went in with an infection in her arm. She had previously had ovarian cancer, so she had a total abdominal hysterectomy. Then it metastasized 10 years later to her breast.
Jeez.
She had those removed. So she had contacted me, and she had like this welting looking to her chest, and she said, I think my breast cancer's come back. And I'm like, that doesn't look like, I can't say. You need to get that checked, but it looks more like welts. And it turned out that she was septic. She had gone systemic throughout her system. She had blood poisoning so bad from the infection. And so they overfilled her with fluid. She went into respiratory distress, and then eventually she died with congestive heart failure.
Jeez.
But the thing
I'm
is,
so sorry, sweetie.
Yeah. But the thing is then I get the death certificate back, and it says that she died of breast and ovarian cancer. And I'm like, she didn't even have any ovaries, and she had a biopsy while she was in there that came back negative for breast cancer. So I'm
what the hell is going on, man?
I
There's
know,
so
right?
much with the paperwork and everything else. Yeah.
It
Hey,
is.
Kathita, welcome in. And I'm trying to get this. I'm still, if it looks like I'm distracted, I promise I'm listening to every word. But I'm trying to fix the chat because I don't want to miss any of these. And looks like we're almost on. Hey, Aunt Edna, how you doing, sweetie? But see, I'm not seeing her on here. So let's do this again one more time, guys. Something is happening with StreamYard. It might be Mercury in retrograde. I don't know. If it splits in two, meet us at the YouTube that pops up. So I'm sorry to do this, but this is an important story. So tonight is going to be about, everything, Lynn just went through, but she told you that bit to kind of let you know that what she's going to tell you when we see if we can get this working right and come back. But it has to do with, so what's on the other side? What are we learning from our being with our loved ones? What are we seeing when that happens? What are we feeling? What are we allowed to see glimpses of? And it seems that when the dead come back to communicate from the other side, they're all saying things that are starting to come together, not just between Lynn and I, but you guys and other guests we've had on the show, from Rob Guttrow to Claire Broad to so many talented and wise, gifted people. And it's all snapping together. I mean, I've heard Echo Bodine speak of going with her guide and literally floating. And she says, well, she hears classical music and they explain to her, or she understands through their explaining telepathically or whatever, that's people that are digging that kind of music right now, and they're all come together to celebrate that. Well, and she thought something like, I really liked whatever, I don't know what it was, just to say Elvis. It wasn't, but to say it. And she said, just think it, and she could hear it. The colors. So we'll get back to that. Let's try this, honey. I'm sorry this is happening. Did you bring some tricky energy? Some, what do you call those? The tricksters. Steve Stockton calls them.
You never know. My sister definitely does have something in her house, so I'm going to be flying out in the morning to address that issue. So Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, it's constant. And you know, it's funny because Steve told me the other day, and again, I'm going to try to fix this chat. But Steve told me the other day that, um, anyway, he was hearing a lot of stuff was going on too, and that somebody was looking for, I can't remember what it was demonologist, extras, whatever,
Mhm.
to come on the show and talk about the stuff because everybody's starting to realize we're in spiritual warfare, and they're trying
Yes,
to
we
get
are.
to learn about the enemy so they can defeat it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
anyway, and so Steve, everybody I know that's out fighting this thing is so busy. Oh, so much stuff going on, and good luck trying to, at this time, we're going to have to go back and go over the shows that are archived from all these
Mhm.
wonderful podcasters and experiencers and people, that are trying to get this information out there. You're going to have to go and watch some good, valid ones. And because they're so busy right now, they don't have a lot of
Yes.
time to sit down and be idle. So anyhow, or you know what I'm saying. So let's
Mhm.
try it again. Holy mackerel, this is a mess. But let's try to beat it. We're gonna just send good energy, and we'll try to get the woolly boogers that are in our electronics out by doing
Yes.
this. All
Do
right,
you
here
need
we go.
do you need me to back out again?
It's possible you might have to come back in. Just use the
Okay.
same link, or if that one doesn't work, I will send you another. We'll work through it.
Okay.
Here
All
we
right.
go.
Got it. Did that fix it?
Wow. I don't
Is it
know.
do
I
you
don't
want
think so.
do you think maybe creating a new link?
Yeah,
Maybe it's something on this link. Let's try if
it's
you could send
corrupt.
me. Can you
I'll send you a
send
new one. Give me
All right,
just a
got it.
minute.
All right, I'm out. I'll